Coming up tonight on the news at 5, November numbers show a sharp spike in COVID cases and deaths in Montana. We show you how it compares to other important health issues facing the state. Plus, new details on the governor's plan to limit federal COVID relief funds to cities and counties.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 5.
Good afternoon and welcome to the News at 5. I'm Jessica Nelson. Thank you for joining us. A composite of state and locally reported data shows Montana's COVID-19 case total has passed 63,000. More than 15,000 of those cases are active. Several more deaths have been reported since Monday, bringing Montana's COVID-19 death total to 731, including the first reported death in Jefferson County. MTN is using a combination of sources to deliver the most accurate count on cases each day. Local county health departments may be alerted to cases before Montana DPHHS, and using that local data means there will be times when MTN coronavirus data does not align with the state report. November was by far the worst month for the pandemic in Montana. 29,000 cases were reported and more than 300 Montanans died from COVID complications. The first COVID-19 death in Montana was reported on March 26th. By the end of the summer, Montana was seeing exponential growth in COVID cases and deaths. 181 deaths were reported at the beginning of October, 397 at the beginning of November, and 730 deaths as of 31 now as of December 1st. 95% of deaths occurred in individuals over the age of 50, with most of them having an underlying health condition such as diabetes or heart disease. However, a lot of COVID risk factors are common conditions in Montana.
We estimate that about 57% of Montana adults have one or more chronic condition that they are actively managing.
Later tonight, MTN reporter John Riley will take a closer look at how the pandemic compares to other health issues Montana is facing, such as suicide. Montana leaders are launching a new counseling hotline for people struggling with mental health during the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Steve Bullock's office announced the Montana Crisis Recovery Hotline. Montanans can call 1-877-503-0833 Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The line will be staffed by trained crisis counselors who can help people cope with fear, anxiety, isolation, and uncertainty they're experiencing. The hotline is funded through a $1.6 million federal grant. It will operate for at least the next 9 months. Leaders say they're specifically targeting the line to hard-hit groups like healthcare workers, contact tracers, tribal members, and older Montanans. But it's also available to everyone in the state.
It is normal at this stage in the pandemic to be exhausted by it, to continue to have fear and anxiety. I know that many people in Montana, unfortunately, have lost loved ones, and we want people to know that it is a really good thing to reach out and get help.
Leaders say this hotline is not a replacement for the Montana Suicide Prevention Lifeline. People in immediate crisis can call that line, or they can text MT to 741-741 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All right, time now for a check of our forecast with Curtis. How's it going on this Tuesday?
Pretty nice. Had a little snow, a little cloud cover, but the clouds, the snow moving out, and if you have a breeze out there, that's likely will be moving out as well. The little disturbance moving down through the front range of the Rockies here, and we've got a really large ridge of high pressure that is building here throughout western North America, and it's this ridge of high pressure that will stick around here for quite some time, perhaps more than a week. I'll let you know what that means coming up here in the forecast. But hey, it's December 1st. Happy meteorological winter here in the weather world. So winter is December, January, and February. Spring is March, April, May. Summer is June, July, August, and September, October, November are the fall months. So if you want to celebrate with me, you got to be a real meteorologist. Here comes the sun. We're singing the Beatles coming up, and a warm December, at least starting out warm. I'll have more on the forecast coming up.
As the COVID-19 outbreak continues, Montana cities and towns have been on the front lines of the response with law enforcement, first responders, and public health workers. But within the past week, the Bullock administration decided to greatly limit their remaining share of federal coronavirus relief funds. MTN's Mike Dennison has more.
The administration had agreed cities and counties would get $300 million in federal CARES Act money this year to help cover COVID-19 related expenses, including law enforcement salaries, contact tracers, and fill-ins for essential employees not able to come to work. But now the Bullock administration says it will be only $200 million, and most of that is already spent. The extra $100 million instead will go to grants to impacted businesses and enhanced unemployment benefits for those out of work. Missoula County Commissioner Dave Strohmeyer says the change caught local governments by surprise.
I think there's frustration across the state from local governments in terms of we had been working under a certain set of assumptions for quite some time, and to, on a dime, make a course correction here is not easy.
Cities and counties can still request reimbursements through December 31st, but for only limited expenses and likely only up to $10 million statewide. The Bullock administration says local governments weren't going to spend all of the $300 million anyways, and that much of that money paid for salaries already in city and county budgets. Strohmeyer said the state certainly calls the shots on how to allocate this money, but that he hopes enough remains to cover vital COVID-19 costs for cities and counties this year.
I guess the proof will be in the pudding as far as how this plays out in the next few weeks.
Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
So far this year, the Bullock administration says it has awarded $919 million of the state's $1.25 billion in federal COVID-19 relief funds. The Montana National Guard's mission to help Benefice Hospital in Great Falls combat COVID-19 is over for now. As MTN Coulter's Anstat explains, the Guard members were an incredible resource in more than one way.
I think our staff are really grateful for the help.
Montana National Guard members may not have been at Benefice in Great Falls for a long time, but their efforts will not soon be forgotten.
They've been great. They've had such positive attitudes. They want to help. They want to provide value while they're here. They're here to help in any way that they can.
That help included a variety of tasks, from filling out forms to helping check someone's blood pressure to sanitizing equipment.
The theme that we're working off of is this is Montanans helping Montanans.
Montana National Guard Chief of Public Affairs Major Dan Bushnell said he's heard good things about the Guard's work at the hospital.
I do know, in talking to their officer in charge and NCOIC, they were very pleased with the work that they were doing there, very happy to be up there providing assistance to the people of Great Falls and really the state of Montana.
While the Guard members may be gone, they can come back if the hospital feels there is a need again in the future. In Great Falls, Coulter Anstat, MTN News.
Great Falls College MSU's food pantry has been around for several years. It's available to all of their students, but it's been especially popular since the pandemic began. The goal of the pantry is to make sure that no student on campus ever has to choose between paying their bills or buying food. Students are allowed up to 50 pounds of food each month. The pantry is supported by the Great Falls Community Food Bank, but also receives donations from school staff and students.
I don't have many limitations or restrictions on who comes to visit me. I'm not concerned with how much money they make at work. I'm not concerned with how many cars they have. If they need food, they can get food.
The campus is closed to the public during the pandemic, but David says you can still drop off any food donations at the front desk. Today is Giving Tuesday, a day dedicated to encourage people to give in any way they can. And NeighborWorks of Great Falls is participating in Giving Tuesday by raising money on their Facebook page. Donations received by NeighborWorks will go to help local members of the community through home buyer education. For Giving Tuesday, Facebook will match $7 million for the nonprofit organizations that host a fundraiser today. The goal for NeighborWorks' fundraising campaign is to raise $5,000. These donations will then go right back into the Great Falls community.
What NeighborWorks does is so vital for our community, and we've helped over 2,500 neighbors over the course of our 40 years into home ownership. And so sometimes our neighbors just need a hand up into home ownership, and so we are here to help them in any way that they need.
If you missed Giving Tuesday, Neighbor Works will still be accepting donations in the mail and in person. Okay, when we come back, Curtis has a full forecast update, and later, there are 2 vaccines that appear promising. We examine them and ask the hard questions.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenens.
Good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. A little light snow in parts of the state last night around the Lewistown area. There were as much as about 4 inches of snow reported just south of Lewistown. What a pretty scene it is, though, with the clouds going out and the sun going down. 27 degrees right now in Great Falls. Light wind, only at about 3 miles per hour. Helena Valley finally clearing out. Still a bit of a breeze out there, making it feel pretty chilly. 34 feels like 25 degrees when you factor in the wind. 20s and 30s, and it will be a chilly night. Many locations heading down into the teens here. And the wind, a little breezy, eastern Montana. Glendive, strongest wind in the state. And there's the capital at about 12 miles per hour. I had a little snow again through last night into this morning. There goes that snow now. Still a little snow up there around Roscoe and Red Lodge. Up on the Beartooth Highway picking up some snow, then also Interstate 90 if anybody was to go that way. And it looks like up here around Scobie and Wolf Point, we've got just a few flakes of snow coming down here. Just a little light snow potentially northeast Montana with a little disturbance coming through here. We've got snow up into the northeast here, and you know where there was snow yesterday? In Alabama. There was more snow in Alabama than what a lot of folks got out of this last system. This from Kaylin Eubanks, and just had to show this picture. And then the kids trying to build snowmen off of the half-inch of snow. I guess that's what you do in Alabama. But a long ridge of high pressure will be setting up here, so we'll clear out that little disturbance tomorrow. Crystal clear blue sky, really a gorgeous December day. And Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, getting the theme here. Really, this ridge of high pressure is going to park itself right over the state here all the way through Monday, and possibly Tuesday of next week might start seeing the ridge begin to break down. Maybe a little mix of some rain and snow coming through with the potential of more snow late next week. Maybe about Thursday, Friday into the weekend we could have a little bit of snow. But as you would expect, we've got no snow anywhere near the state here. There's a little snow way on up in British Columbia with the storm track going all the way up and around Montana here. So here is the forecast for tonight. The temperatures down again into the teens and the 20s for most locations. Chinook, Harlem, 12, 11, that's pretty chilly. Malta at 9, and again out here could see just a few flakes of snow over the next few hours. 9 in Showdown, they picked up about 6 inches of snow. Lewistown down to about 16, and around the Helena area generally into the teens, or maybe even some single digits a little further out in the Helena Valley out there around Lincoln Road and Lake Helena. Here's the forecast for tomorrow. Sunshine galore. Really going to be a nice day for the entire state. Little southwest breeze here off of the Rocky Mountain front, including around Great Falls. 10, 15 miles per hour, that's about it. Slightly cooler the farther east you go in the state, or the farther away you get from the Rocky Mountain frontier. 20s and 30s, northeast Montana should be right near 40 degrees around Lewistown, melting some of that new snow. But notice around Helena and Lincoln and Elliston, Deer Lodge, Butte, Boulder, Townsend, starting to see some inversions developing here. So that will mean colder air trapped in the valley locations. Here's the 7-day forecast for Helena. Remarkably consistent weather here. Highs in the upper 30s to lower 40s, lows in the teens. Hardly a breath of wind anytime soon, which is highly unusual. By next Tuesday, clouds starting to roll in. And for Great Falls, enjoy the light wind tomorrow, because it will pick up, but that light wind, as it increases, will create more in the way of some warmth as we go up to near 50 Thursday and Friday, and we are in the 50s for the first weekend of December.
Many questions still need to be answered surrounding 2 vaccines as they are submitted for emergency use authorization. Take a look.
In one of the more paradoxical developments of COVID-19, the virus's pervasive nature that has killed, sickened, and saddened so many has also led us to the brink of such promising innovation.
It's obviously tragic that the cases are occurring that quickly, but it does help a vaccine trial, because otherwise you have to wait much longer.
In June, the FDA released its vaccine guidelines saying it would consider emergency use authorization for any vaccine testing with at least 50% effectiveness. Moderna and Pfizer both went well above that, saying theirs are testing at or near 95%.
These vaccines, as excited as we are about them, are not yet the silver bullet.
A lesson in cautious optimism, according to the executive director of the International Vaccine Access Center at Johns Hopkins, William Moss.
We don't want to give the public the impression that, there's an emergency use authorization and these vaccines become available in a small amount in December and we can go back to our pre-pandemic behavior. That's one of the dangers.
Erring on the side of caution, Moss says many questions still need answering, among them how the vaccine works. Dr. Fauci has said the initial vaccines will prevent symptoms in those who become infected rather than kill the virus itself. That means immunized people might still be able to spread COVID to others. But how long will immunization last? 1 year? 3? Will booster doses be needed? All careful considerations that will only emerge once one is put into play.
Particularly in the coming months when only a small proportion of the U.S. population is going to be able to get these vaccines, people are going to really need to continue wearing masks and physically distancing.
On the side of optimism, however, what is happening right now could reshape how vaccines are made in the future. Because things have developed so quickly, the process of how the drug is made has sped up. Same with the vaccine itself. In traditional vaccines, a small dose of the virus is injected into the body, so the immune system can create antibodies. In the COVID-19 vaccine, however, both Moderna and Pfizer have used what is called messenger RNA, where the virus's genetic code is injected into the body so it can instruct cells on what antibodies to produce. Scientists say this way is faster, safer, and can create a stronger immune response.
I suspect, given, if this all plays out well and these vaccines are safe and continue to demonstrate 95 or 90% efficacy, we're going to see other vaccines of a similar type.
A lesson in innovation in the face of an unprecedented challenge. I'm Dan Grossman reporting.
Up next, wrestling season has been delayed. We'll hear from two teams after the break.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
Due to COVID-19, wrestling competitions won't begin until later this month. Tom Wiley has more on how the Argos and Lights are adjusting.
The University of Providence won't have athletes back on campus until next Monday, and the Argo wrestling team is in for drastic change to the way practice is usually structured.
We have some testing protocols to go through with our kids. We're very fortunate to have a very large facility. As far as the numbers of kids working out and the amount of people getting together at any certain time, we certainly do have a lot of control over that kind of stuff.
Meanwhile, the MSU Northern Lights have started practice, but they don't get to compete until later this month in Nebraska. But per NAIA guidelines, there will be no open tournaments this year, only duels, which means coaches will have to get creative with lineups.
You're going to see some fresh faces. We're going to play with the lineup a little bit, figure out who, we've got a little more time. So the positives coming out of it is we have a little more time to figure out who's ready for the postseason. It's hard to do with duels, but I see advantages in it.
The challenges are many for NAIA wrestling teams, and though competition will happen this year, the potential for a disrupted season remains. That's why both coaches appreciate the NAIA stepping up and granting an extra year of eligibility to every student athlete, regardless of their year in school.
The NAIA also believes this is not a championship experience to have such a muddy competition season. They want these kids having an experience of a lifetime, and I was grateful to the NAIA for doing that.
They want these guys to have opportunity, and whether they're providing the opportunity, because parts of the country right now are doing some wrestling, and they want kids to have opportunity, but they also know that there are so many challenges that they don't want these kids to lose out on part of their life.
Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
A popular restaurant opens back up and has a facelift.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 5.
At After shutting down, the Montana Club in Helena reopened its doors just in time for the holiday season. Montana Club's chief operating officer told MTN the timing for closing the restaurant from September to Thanksgiving worked out so they could give the restaurant a facelift for the holiday and readjust the menu with the new executive chef. They also have private dining rooms open for reservation right now. Looks beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Have a great rest of your night.